Hello everybody, welcome back to the Gear 426 channel. This is the second time that I've done this intro because I messed up the first one. So we are finally doing yet another truck video. Haven't done one of those in a little while. So we're replacing all of the suspension bushings because this 20-year-old truck, yes it is 20 years old, it's a 2001, it's 2021, still has its original bushings in the rear and half of them in the front. And they're really starting to show their age. Front end kind of moves around a little bit. The rear end moves around a lot, which is like really not good. I have already replaced the front two bushings on the leaf springs, and today we're going to go ahead and finish replacing the rear four on the shackles and whatnot. I learned my lesson when doing the front two. I finally got myself some heat. I now kind of know what I'm doing. Things should be a little bit easier this time around. I also want to go ahead and let you guys know too, this is going to be a two-parter. This video is going to be of the rear, and then part two is going to be of the front, because I'm going to be replacing the lower control arm bushings. Those ones are bad. The upper ones is not worth replacing. Those were replaced like 3-ish years ago with brand new control arms. No sense in messing with those. But these right here is what I'm using. It's energy suspension. There's not really anything else you can get for this truck. There's like one other brand. They're both the same thing. Polyurethane bushings are polyurethane bushings. So this is a reputable company. As you can see, I've already torn this one apart and started putting it all together in the rear. So let's go ahead, jack up the rear, pull the tires off, and start getting everything where I need it to be to start working on it again. Yay! I know, I really need some new tires. If you thought the last one was bad, this one's really bad. So we got the tires off, I got on a jack stand. I know that there are better ways to do that jack stand, but I need as much height as I can, and you know, safety third. So as you can see, I have already replaced the front bushings right over here like I said. I need to go ahead and disconnect that shock. I already disconnected them on the other side. And back here is what we still need to replace. I have to go ahead and take this out. So pretty sure that the bushing of the shackle is the one that's completely blown out. But we have to take the shackle off and then disconnect the shackle from the actual leaf spring itself. Do that on both sides, have everything out, and then we could go ahead and take the old bushings out, put the new ones in, slap everything together, and we should be all good. Now to go ahead and take off the shackle or take out those bolts, it's going to be a 21mm and a T55 Torx bit on this side. So yeah, hopefully I don't have to take my spare tire out. Yeah, I know, my spare tire has more tread than the tires on my rear. So let's go ahead and get to it. It's an 18 on this side and a 15 on this side, by the way. There are plenty of videos out there showing how to remove a shock on a Dodge Dakota. So 21mm right here, and through here you want a T55 Torx. You might need to get an extension. I think I can get away with it though. Yep, I'll be able to get away with it. That's one. It appears I have more room on the passenger side, so that's pretty sweet. And that's two. Now let's go ahead and try to see if I can knock these out. You also want to do it with no spring tension because this can come down and hurt you pretty bad if it's loaded. Found a rock that's been there for God knows how long. So you should really use a punch to go ahead and get that bolt all the way through, but I don't really have one at this very second that I could just easily grab. So this here POS Allen key will do just fine. That is one. Now let's go get the other side. Cool, I didn't have to take my tire out. Now the entire weight of the rear end is on my jack. Now I need to go ahead and lower it so I can take out this bolt right here without this being in the way. Same as the top one, T55 and a 21mm. Of course, I probably should have busted this loose when it was still up on top. Ah, there we go. And these ones should come apart real easy. Yep, just like that. Definitely should have buzzed these loose. Okay, I'm getting the impact for this one. I'm being lazy. So we got our shackles out. And these bushings are, well, they're very dry rotted. I was expecting a lot worse. I was expecting there to be a bushing just completely non-existent, the way that this truck hops around and whatnot. And if you come and look right here, those aren't necessarily the worst either. I mean, I was expecting much worse, but we're still gonna go ahead and replace the polyurethane because polyurethane's the best. I need to go ahead and get out my bushing driver, whatever kit, and get these out. And I need to go ahead and heat these up with the torch. So I'm gonna set up the camera somewhere where I could just go ahead and just do all that. So apparently the trick with these is not to, you know, burn the rubber and whatnot, but to heat up the outside until you start seeing smoking. And then it broke the bond with the rubber inside. So that's what we're gonna do. Oh, that's actually really cool. I can actually see it separating. Okay. This is the first time doing this like right for once. Hopefully that'll do it. So I have this kit right here, which is pretty sweet. These guys right here kind of suck, unfortunately, but you can make your own with, I believe it's 12.9 rod, and then you won't have to worry about these breaking. These right here is what makes this kit absolutely worth it. It was about $80, and I'm honestly not complaining that much. I already did break one of the bearings because they have these weird, like, bearings right here, but yeah, it's pretty good. I'll put a link below where you can go ahead and pick this up. You just might want to replace these rods because they really suck, but for today we gotta make them work. I also like that it has this little slot right here so you can see what you're doing as you're doing it. And as you can see, I've already pretty damn well bent this one. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it is very twisted, but it's just gonna have to make it through today. Now, unfortunately, I do not have my 21mm wrench, but I can go ahead and put a 21mm on this side for the first time ever. But sometimes it will hold itself on the other side. Right now it is, so right now I'm trying to push that inside metal sleeve, bushing, call it whatever thing, out. Once it pushes out most of the way, the actual rubber itself loosens up quite a good bit. A little bit of WD-40 also helps too. I got that pushed quite a good bit, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it out and swap on a socket for the rest of the way. I'm definitely getting better rod for this. This rod sucked. Where's my hammer? Yeah, it's always a good idea, hammer. Well, the hammer took it out really nicely. 24mm socket. I'm using a chromoly one. That should be just right to go ahead and push that rubber out. Now, I did break one of these this way. Don't do this. I broke one of the bearings that way. And I would recommend putting this flat side up against the rubber. So what I would do right here is I would put the socket in, take this collet too, because you're going to have to push this quite far. You're going to have to extend this rod. Have that old collet, whatever thing right there, the socket here to push the rubber through, and this guy obviously on the end to accept everything. I do this because we have a long ways to push. We're going to have to push that rubber through most of the way before it lets go pretty easily. And I'm not worried about hurting this socket. It's a impact socket. I mean, those things are heavy duty. Like I said before, sometimes this side will hold itself. So, looks like it is right now, and that rubber is going straight through pretty easily. That just got really tough. Oh wow. Yo, that was the move right there. That just broke freaking loose. You know what? We're gonna go ahead and try to see if I could just push the other one all the way through without having to take that collet out. I seriously doubt it though. Hey, check that out. That is freaking awesome. Yeah, it's not horrible, but it's not good either. Go ahead and do this all over again. I want to actually go ahead and see, maybe with the heat and whatnot, I don't actually have to push that piece out. So let's try that. Now, heat. Yep, got instantly easier. There we go, now the WD-40 worked its way in there. Whatever I did on the first one, don't worry about it. I don't have to push that thing all the way through. I'm still trying to figure all this stuff out too, guys. Like, there's still a lot I need to learn as well. Okay, I know I said not to do this, but this is me, not you. See, like I said, don't do that. But it's okay if I do it. Cool, that is 2 bushings pushed out of the shaft. Now, we need to go ahead and do the ones on the leaf springs, which are going to be a little bit, hopefully easier. I don't know. They have an outer shell, and the whole unit, like the shell and the rubber bushing, has to come out in order for the new polyurethane ones to go in. Okay, so like I said, there's a sleeve in here that also has to come out with the bushing. I have a much larger sleeve right here so that it could go ahead and go into, obviously. And on this side, I'm using a 26mm socket backed by a 24mm socket. Now, I did coat the 26mm in WD-40 because it's almost the same size as what I'm pushing out. So kind of bind a little bit going through, but if I put a little bit of WD, it should just go straight through, no problem. And we're gonna go ahead and heat this thing up. That made the other ones way easier. I don't see why I want to make this easier. Alright, let's go ahead and give it a few cranks, see if it'll pop on out. More heat. Oh! Oh, hell yeah! I don't think we need any more heat. Oh, it's just coming right on out. Hell yeah! This is what I like about this little window that they put on these. It allows you to be able to see what you're doing. Alright, as you can see, I have that socket right there that needs to come on out, and the only way it's going to come out is if I get that center collet piece. And yeah, check that out. Look at them bushings. Sweet. That's probably like the easiest one so far. Just curious. Maybe? No fucking way. That worked. Okay, never mind. That has made my life way easier. It's one, now let's go do the other. Ah, yes, because that is totally the right way to do that, without a doubt. Believe me, I'm a professional. By the way, you don't want to get this too hot. I mean, this propane torch will never get hot enough, but you can mess up the spring by getting it too hot. If you're using an oxyacetylene, please be careful. Don't be a complete idiot, like me. This is definitely a workout. And there's another piece of crap one. Oh yeah, I got some innovative thinking going on right here. That's the move. Hooray, the hard part is now done. Now we could go on to the easy stuff. But first, I gotta go ahead and clean everything because I like everything to be nice and clean, and that's just gonna be boring to film because I'm just gonna go over everything with a Scotch-Brite pad. So I'll catch you guys in like 5-10 minutes. The part that I really enjoy, reassembly, because it's the easiest part, at least whenever it comes to this stuff. So I have all my bushings right here. They're all numbered, thankfully. these get the smaller ones, which is this guy right here. It should be the 24, 29s. These ones are a little bit larger. All of these are the same, so it doesn't matter. Just go ahead and grab all of our small ones. Yep, that's all of our small ones. Now, this is what I like to do personally. This stuff. It's dielectric grease. It's freaking awesome. I love this stuff. I'll go ahead and put a link below that shows that this stuff is even better than the crap that they send you for these bushings, if I can find that article. But I love this. It keeps it quiet, and the stuff that they always give you with these bushings, it's not bad by any means. I think it's actually the same stuff, pretty close at least. They just don't give you enough of it. They always like skimp out on you really bad. But this right here, oh man, you could just throw on as much as you want. Plus this is only like $6 to $8 a tube. You know, I think it's worth it. I'm just gonna go ahead and put a lot on all of these, because there's no such thing as not enough whenever it comes to this stuff. And once it's on there, it's on there. Which, by the way, wear gloves when using this, because like this stuff is very sticky. It's very messy, and it will make sliding it into here a breeze. Look at that. That was so easy. Just go ahead and shove that in there, and boom. And the pins, I always give them a nice lube too. There we go. That easy. Literally that easy. I'm gonna go ahead, because these look like they came out just a little bit, put this guy on just to suck everything up together. Now don't go all crazy with this, because you will damage these, but I'm just doing this to go ahead and pull everything together, make sure that it's in there. Sweet. I just do it until I see all of the grease pop out, and then once I see that, I'm pretty happy. That is one shackle done. Now to the next. That's 2 shackles completely done. They look freaking awesome. I need to get a thumbnail, and I also need to change out these gloves. Cool. And now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the leaf springs. Exact same procedure. Like I said earlier, there is no such thing as too much of this stuff. At least that's just how I feel about it. Especially if you don't like suspension bushing squeaks. Definitely a good idea to go with this stuff. Like I said, you don't like suspension squeaks? This stuff will shut it up like forever. Never have another suspension squeak ever again, and polyurethane bushings are known for squeaking. Also, while I'm here and I have it in my hand, I'm going to put a little bit on the end of my shocks, because they look like they could use a little bit. It just makes everything happier. This one wants to be the definition of a bitch. Now we could go ahead and reinstall our shackles. I don't recommend tightening anything at all. Just slide all the bolts through. I'm even going to loosen up the front. Put everything back together. Get the entire weight of the truck on the rear end. Then tighten up everything. That does include putting the shocks back on and not tightening them either until all the weight is on them, because we want everything to be sitting where it normally would be stock. Then we tighten everything so that, you know, it just sits right. It sits better. You don't want to twist anything. They're new. I think you guys get the idea. Just do it that way to make sure that if anything bad could happen, it won't. With using my jack, I'm going to go ahead and use it to bring the rear end up, to line my shocks back up so I could go ahead and throw the bolt in on both of them. Now we could go ahead and put the shackles in place, get the whole weight of the truck on the rear end, tighten everything, put the tires back on it, and see how it drives. There we go. And this is why it's important to leave everything loose. It's way easier to line everything up when there's nothing holding it. It's okay if you don't get it in all the way. You do have to go through the frame. Whenever you go to tighten it up, it should suck it all in. So now that we have all of our bolts in, I'm gonna go ahead and jack rear end up and put all the weight on the truck onto the jack. And then we could go ahead and tighten everything up. All right, that's one. Two. I goofed, so I need to jack it back down, undo the shackle, because I can't get this bolt right here without having to take my hitch off, so I have to unbolt the top. Shit. We kind of have a good idea where it needs to go. So now if you do not have a Reese hitch on your truck, this probably won't be a problem for you. And as you can see, this is already being a problem for me. Now hopefully I could clock it with this one. Oh, I can't. Okay, okay. This is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Now I have to go do that to the other side. Great. Sweet. See, look at that. Because of all that lube, moves really nice and free. Now we can go ahead and jack everything back up and realign it. Okay, and now we can jack everything back up. Okay, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and done. Now we can just go ahead, throw the wheels on, and get it off this frickin' jack. Yay! Yes, I know I only have 5 on this side, even though it's supposed to be 6. This stud is completely messed up, and I never got around to fixing it. It's still something I need to do. Probably make a quick 5-minute video out of it. Hey, check that out, no squeaking. And that is how you replace the bushings in a 2001 Dodge Dakota in the rear. The truck handles significantly better now. The rear doesn't feel like it's moving around a whole lot anymore. It actually feels like it wants to stay where it needs to. And it doesn't hop that much. I do have a bit of a transmission problem though, which sucks. I will say, I'm not gonna name who, but I'm never getting them to rebuild another transmission for me ever again. But that is for a different video. It handles better, it's a lot more planted, it feels significantly better. I don't know what this truck felt like new, because whenever I got this truck it was already like 15 years old. So yeah, but anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. If you were stopping by for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Also, keep an eye out for part 2 for whenever I go ahead and I do the front portion of the suspension. I wanted to go ahead and split this up as a part 1 and part 2 because it made it a little bit easier for filming. I already have about 2 hours plus of video to go ahead and edit down to probably what's going to be 10-15 minutes. So we'll see. See ya.